You guys, this is Misty with Cancerian Chronicles. Welcome back. We are going to go ahead and jump into some messages from your spirit guides to see what they have in store. The first card that comes out says, I will be cheerful. And at the bottom it says be determined. So immediately what I'm getting is that whatever it is that you're trying to manifest, whatever it is that you're trying to bring in, right? Because my whole channel is about, being goal focused, whether your goal is to bring in money, to bring in relationships, to bring in whatever, like this is about you being intentional and you bringing in what it is that you desire. But while you're going through the process, your spirit guides are encouraging you to be cheerful along the way. Okay, so yes, you're going to experience some ups and downs, but you have to just kind of keep, stay focused, make sure that you remain determined. And then we have be respectful. So I'm kind of really with this one, I'm getting the sense of like, being respectful to yourself, being respectful to your calling, being respectful to your goal, not lowering your standards when it comes to it, right? So like, let's say that your goal has something to do with money. Your goal is to bring in $100,000 a year. Yours might be higher, it might be lower. There's no right, there's no wrong. There's only what is right for you. But let's say your goal is you want $100,000 within the next, whatever. I don't know, pick a time frame. You've set your goal and you've planned out how you're going to make it there, right? And you come to a crossroads. And what's easier, like maybe you're already at a job and they offer you like, okay, well, we would like for you to stay here. And we can offer you, you're already making 50. So we're going to offer you $60,000. Well, I'm not saying for you to not take that, but what I am saying is that you don't want to just stop there and lower your standard and say, well, you know what? My original goal was 100,000, but I'm just going to stay here and I'm going to settle for the 60,000, right? So you need to respect your actual goal. That means maybe you do take the 60,000 for now, and then you kind of cast your nets far and wide. So you cast your nets out to, other companies, or, maybe you start using some of that extra income to build your own business that starts bringing in, 6 figures and higher. Okay. So it's always staying true to your goal, not just giving in and giving up when things start to, get a little tough. Don't, just throw in the towel and be like, well, I'm never going to make that amount of money, Yeah, so there's something to do with that, respecting whatever it is, okay? Respect the game, player. So this is almost like, maybe you're in a video game and you need to respect the game. You need to respect the terms, of engagement or something like that. Same thing when it comes to a relationship. Like if you know that your end goal is marriage, right? That is your goal for whatever reason. For those of you, like that's your spill, that's your thing, that's what you want to do. And then you meet someone and the person tells you straight up, like, I'm never going to get married ever again. And, because maybe they've already been married, or they just say, I'm never going to get married because I don't believe in, the government being in my business. I don't believe in marriage. I don't believe in, whatever reason that they have. It really doesn't matter. What matters is that you guys are not aligned. And if your goal is that, yes, you do want marriage, but this person is telling you, no, I'm never going to marry you. You need to be respectful of that goal and you need to bow out gracefully. Don't just stay in a relationship with a person that's already told you what the business is, right? Thinking that maybe they'll change their mind later on along the road. Same thing when it comes to babies. Someone tells you that they don't want babies. Do not lower your standards. Do not lower your goals. Don't give up on your dreams, your hopes, and your wishes just because someone else wants something else or someone else says something different. Okay. Yeah. So those are the, examples that are coming to mind. What else? Yeah, I will be a good listener. So listen, I don't know if you guys are receiving some messages and you are not listening to them. Maybe you're making decisions and all of your spidey senses are telling you like, what direction to take. I don't want to say that your spidey senses are telling you not to go down a certain path. It may be telling you, to go down a path and you're refusing to do so, or it's telling you to not go down a certain path and you're wanting to, find out for yourself. You're wanting to go and check it out on your own, even though your spirit guides, your inner guidance even is telling you like, no, don't do that. So there's something to do with that. So we have be modest here at the bottom, and at the top we have be optimistic. Okay. I feel like this has something to do with like whatever this is that you're focused on, whatever your goals or your intentions are. I don't mean like be modest as far, like I'm not getting like be modest as in like cover up your body or, whatever. What I'm getting is like, more along the lines of like moderation, doing things in moderation. Okay. And also there's something to do with some of you guys, one of you, some of you, or none of you, that has something to do with like being mindful of not being so boastful or being a braggart is what I'm getting. Okay. So let's see what other messages we have for the collective from your spirit guides. Okay. Messages from spirit guides. What are the messages? What does the collective need to know? Oh, geez. So let me see what this is. We have the King of Keys that I don't even know how that flipped out. So we're going to go ahead and keep it though. I just noticed that it flipped around. And then what popped out is the Six of Roses. It says the War of the Roses. I feel like this is something to do with like you going back and forth with whatever it is that you're wanting for yourself, what it is that you're wanting for your life. And that needs to come to an end, right? With this coming in reverse, with this King of Keys, it's like you're headed along a certain path. You have all of the resources that you need, but the main issue or the main problem has something to do. Oh, there's a bird like, but the main thing is that you're going to have to make up your mind, because the tools that you use, the resources that you pull out of your little bag is going to depend on what it is that you truly want and desire for yourself. At the bottom, we have the Five of Scrolls, which says diversity. And at the top, we have the Two of Forces, which says the willow. And this is making me think of, like wisdom. This willow tree is making me think of wisdom, but also just the tree is making me think about something growing. I don't know. There's something to do with, it's kind of like you have to be clear on what your path is, right? Because I feel like you may be like, what is it? The jack of all trades. You can do whatever you like. You can go, you're going to be successful no matter what path you choose to take. You have all the resources for all of those different paths, but to be successful, you're going to have to pick the path. You're going to have to pick the path. All of every resource does not go for every path. So that's why you have to be crystal clear on what goals you have set for yourself, what your intentions are, and what it is that you want, out of life, we'll just say. Okay. And then going back to this be cheerful, you guys, I feel like if there are people or situations or circumstances in your energy that you have control over whether or not they stay, I'm hearing, do I stay? Should I stay or should I go? Like if you have control over who is in your life and who is not in your life, right? Like you can't poof, be gone, make your boss be gone, while you're focused on making a certain amount of money so that you can reach a goal, right? Like obviously you can't do that. But like, let's say you have people in your energy that like, they don't support your goals. They don't support your dreams. They make you feel some type of way, some type of negative energy. And, you get to determine when they're in your life or if they're in your life at all. Then you're going to have to make those tough decisions and those hard decisions, because your happiness Like the way that these people are pulling on your energy and the way that they're making you feel, or certain situations or circumstances, it's going to also determine how things go along your path. Like, don't allow things to stay in your path, in your way, or in your energy that are going against, that are, that are going against what it is that you're focused on. So just kind of be, oh gosh, I should have actually looked at the card. I'm just doing all this talking out. I didn't even bother to look at this card, but this is the 4 of Keys and it says clearing the way. And that's essentially what I was trying to say, is that you need to clear the way for your success. At the bottom of the deck, we have caught in the ruins. So I feel like, depending on what you're leaving around you, I'm hearing something about, the birds of a feather flock together, right? You may not have those intentions of, the people that are around you. Like maybe they're very negative. They have a problem for, every solution. Like they always have problems. They're always down in the dumps. Everything is about them, oh yeah, I'm living, I'm surviving, right? Like that may not naturally be the type of person that you are in your energy, but if you surround yourself by those people, then that's what you're going to become. So that's why you have to be mindful of the company that you keep. Those people can determine, those people can actually help you, either clear the way so that you can be successful in reaching your goals, or they can have you caught in the ruins, right? At the top of the deck, we have we have 2 worlds. I'm telling you, like you have to be super mindful about what it is or who it is that you have in your atmosphere. I was about to say hemisphere for some reason, but yeah, there's something to do with that. Like you have to choose a side is essentially what I'm getting from this. You need to pick a side. Yeah, at the bottom of the deck under that even is the King of Keys. I'm sorry, the Queen. I'm looking at the King of Keys right here. And then at the bottom, when I pull that other card off, we have the Queen of Keys. For some of you guys, like if you're looking for love and relationships, you're looking for a partner, I feel like the partner that you end up with, or the people that you partner with, are going to determine, your success. So you have to be super intentional about your entire vetting process. Okay. Oh, look, we have Buddha Prepares. We had this on the last reading, but this one is falling under the King of Keys. Yeah, and in the last reading, we talked about, making sure that you have like a plan, like you have things written out. There was a lot of scroll energy. And in this one, this is like, okay, so you have things written out, you have your plan written out, or you've spoken out, what it is that you want for yourself. And this is about gathering up your resources so that you can also be prepared, right? This is a part of that process. We have Archangel Raphael, and notice, last time we had that green card and I talked about the heart chakra, and here the focus, we have that green in his hand, and they are highlighting the heart chakra area, right? I feel like you need to make sure that you balance that out. And then here we have the Queen of Scrolls. This is, so now, like you've created your plan. Now this is about you actually nurturing your plan. This is about you revisiting your plan and, scruffing something out or scrubbing things out, making sure that the people, the decisions, whatever this is that you have around you, that it aligns with your bottom line. And if it doesn't, you got to get it out of there. If it's out of alignment, you have to get it out of there. Yeah. I'm hearing don't start, no, won't be no. Don't start, no, won't be no. Like if you don't start, it's just, there's something to do with like, making sure that you're clearing out problems before they even start to fester or before they have an opportunity to grow. Okay. Yeah. What else? What do your guides want you to know? We have bird's nest. I'm being guided to this butterfly here. But with the bird's nest, it kind of makes me think of just kind of chaos. And notice how we're under this, Six of Roses, the War of the Roses, which is in reverse. There's something to do with just like transforming or changing the way that you're doing something. We've already talked about like you have to make a final decision on, what path you want to choose and stick to it. I feel like this is a matter of like you sticking to your guns, you sticking to what you have decided so that you can feed that, so that you can nurture that. And that is where you're going to start to see some changes, some transformation, some improvement, some growth. At the bottom, we have spring, autumn with the Four of Forces. I feel like this is now. This is a time for you to be, pouring into your plans or, planting seeds, right? And coming up with your strategy if you haven't already. Or just playing it, playing the game. You should have already come up with your plan. If you haven't, obviously you revisit it, you revamp it as needed. But this is, I'm hearing the heat. The heat is on. The heat is on. I feel like this is game time. The game is on. And just making sure that you are being very strategic in the moves that you are making. Okay, what else? Oh, there's that willow. And this is falling under clearing the way. So we have the willow, Two of Forces. Hold on real quick. Since that one keeps coming out, we're going to look at it. I feel like there's something I need to look at. Oh, jeez. So, it signifies a time of power, perfect for reinforcing your foundation in your work, in your family, in your spirit, and in the depth of your belief in yourself. Just like the willow, you have a peaceful strength drawn from the waters of your soul and extending through all eternity. Stand confidently in your truth. Take actions that support the growth of all things wonderful in your life and know that you are powerful. So just look at that. Look at how this is falling under clearing the way. And with that clearing the way, look at that. Someone or something, it doesn't even matter if it was intentional or if it was just something to do with like, nature, right? But there's some obstacles coming in your path. And, I feel like there's something to do with like making sure that you're prepared for it. That's why it's so important to determine what your actual path is, like pick it and stick to it. Because remember, I said like the resources that you're going to use along said path are going to depend on what that path is. The tools that you're going to use is going to depend on the path. Like you can't just use them all interchangeably. Some of them you will be able to, but I feel like, depending on what your path is, there might be a certain set of skills, a certain set of tools that you're going to need, right? So that's why you have to know, and you have to make sure that you have them already packed and ready and, ready to go and you're prepared. Okay. Because if you, let's say, for example, because this is like the little country atmosphere, right? But let's say whatever path you chose involved you living in the city. So when you're packing up, if you're traveling, just your everyday travels in the city, you're not going to necessarily need the same things that you would might need for the country. And believe it, like I live in the country, so this isn't too far-fetched, because there are times where trees just fall in the road, and some of the people here, you know, they have their tractors and they move them, even though we do have, you know, the county does come out and do that. Like you can call them and they can come out. But there's only a couple of workers there, right? But sometimes the community works together, and people already, like if you have somewhere to go in the country, you know, certain farmers or whatever, they already have tools on deck. Some of them already have tools on deck, and they just cut up those trees and throw them out the way and keep on about their business, right? So it's not like out of the way, like their tools are, you know, a little bit different than if you're in the city. In the city, there aren't even that many trees. So the likelihood of a tree falling in the road and blocking your path is minimal. So the way that you pack up is, it depends on what your path is. And that's just, you know, kind of, that was the energy that I was getting, you know, from that. At the bottom, we saw this in the last reading with this intricacies and industry. So we have that at the bottom with the 7 of scrolls. And now we have another 7, which is fated meeting. We saw this one as well in the last reading. So there's something really important with, you know, time. Some type of meeting a certain deadline, or some type of time constraint. There's something to do with something, like the devil is in the details is what I'm hearing. There could be, like, I don't know. But depending on, like, I don't know what your goals or what your intentions are. So let's say you have like your top 6 you know, possible, and that's a lot, I know, but like, let's say you have, you know, your top 6, you know, goals or things that you would like to accomplish, or, you know, paths that you would like to take, and you're not sure, you're juggling between 6 ideas. And yes, that is a lot, but let's say, you may not be able to, even, you know, like, I'm getting like maybe 3 of those, they're very time sensitive. So you're going to have to decide, you're going to have to weed those out right now, because something is time sensitive, you know, something that you're just kind of holding off on, or, you know, whatever. I don't know if that, I hope that makes sense, you guys. But some, you know, you may have one plan. Let's say you only have 2 options. One of them is time sensitive. So that's why you need to hurry up and you need to make a decision, and you need to stick to it. You can't waver back and forth, because, you know, time is of the essence when it comes to that. Patience just tried to pop out. So there might be something, another one might just, you know, take a lot more time. Maybe one is like a quicker path. And one of the other ones is something that, you know, you're going to have to be patient, because it's going to take you a lot more time to get it accomplished. I mean, only you know what your goals are, right? Or what your possibilities are. I feel like, of course, your possibilities are endless, but you know, we have open portal. I feel like whoever you are, whatever this is that you have going on in your life, you are, you know, this is, you're at a point in your life where you're starting over, perhaps. I'm also guided to this breakthrough. Open portal says new beginnings, breakthrough, and connect with the infinite. So either you're at a certain, I don't want to say crossroads. I feel like it's just more of like I mean, you're just at a stopping point, I guess, to where like you're going to have to, I mean, it is kind of a crossroads, I guess. I'm trying to sugarcoat it, but it's a crossroads. Or some of you guys, it's like you have an opportunity for a do-over. You have an opportunity to do something different. If you're unhappy with the way that things are going in your life right now, you have the opportunity to make changes, but you just have to listen to your intuition. Your intuition might be guiding you to do something different, but you have to follow that. At the bottom, we have willingness, and you have to be willing to take action. Look at that. It says act on intuition. Act on intuition. Let's see what's at the top. At the top, it says journeying, seek out new perspectives, take a trip, and cultivate openness. You have to be open to whatever this is. You have to be open to it, and you have to be willing to take actions, because I feel like this is a really good time for whoever you are and with whatever it is that you're wanting to do. Okay. What else? Yeah, we have self-reflection, and this came out in the last, wow, this came out in the last one. The last messages from your spirit guides. It says self-reflection, honestly assess, acceptance, and honor your progress. And I'm still guided to honestly assess, not so much of the honor your progress like I saw in the last one, but this one, this is about, I feel like you're going to have to constantly assess and reassess the progress that you're making, right? And you have to be honest about it. Okay. Like if you have some business that you're working on and you're not getting as far, or, you know, you're not getting as many clients, or you're not selling as much product, you have to assess, you know, how much did you put into advertising? How much did you put into, you know, I don't know if you have to do cold calls or, you know, whatever it is that you do. How much effort did you honestly put into it? Because that's going to determine what you're getting out of it. If you're talking about relationships and dating, right? Because you're on a path to marriage, because that's what you want. You know, everybody wants something different. Definitely not my path, because I've been there and done that. But there's nothing wrong. If that is your path, if that's something that you're hoping for, or that you're wishing for, or we're not hoping and wishing, that you're planning for. Let's just say that you're planning for, because, you know, the Most High, your spirit guides, they're not dropping a man or a woman from the sky into your lap. They are expecting you to do the work. So if you're not any closer this week than you were last week, how much time, energy, and effort did you put into meeting new people? And I don't mean that you're, this is just for my women. Okay. I don't mean that you're going around, stopping men and trying to talk to them. Right. That's not what I'm talking about, because I don't believe in that. But have you gone out and made yourself like accessible, right? Meaning people can see you. Because if you're sitting up in your house all day, every day, don't expect to be any closer to marriage this week or the next week. If you're not going to do anything different in your life, you're going to continue to get the exact same results. And you have to be honest with yourself. You know, everyone, how do you meet men? I definitely don't recommend on the internet. If you want one, I don't recommend on the internet. You have to be out. You have to be visible. I don't know, go to, like, I live in the country, so I don't know what you would do in the country over here, but I don't know, go to a coffee shop, go to a restaurant, go to places where there are people so that you can be seen. But don't just sit in your house like, woe is me. I'm never going to get a man. I'm never going to get a woman. But of course not, because you're not leaving. You're not leaving your house. Nobody sees you. It's not because you're not worthy and you don't deserve someone, or that no one wants you. You can have all kinds of people that want you, but if they don't see you. Yeah, I don't know. Let's get one more of these while I'm over here preaching. Yeah, look at that. We have waves of change, which says embrace change, paradigm shift, and ride the wave of light. And I'm really guided to embrace change. There are some things that you're going to have to do different, depending on what your path is that you choose, or what your goals are, or what your intentions are. And you have to be willing and open to make those changes. We saw this in the last one. Take a step, get into action, co-create with spirit, and path will appear. You actually have to do the work. Okay. You have to take the steps. And we have synchronicity, on divine time, flow state, and meaningful coincidences. So we're going to go ahead and leave it there. I hope that these messages were helpful, you guys. If so, let me know in the comments, but also hit that thumbs up, you guys. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure that you subscribe Share the video if you feel like this is a good message for, you know, someone that you know or love, or, you know, maybe you don't love them. I don't know. It's not my business, but share the video all the same. So thank you so much for being here. I love you. Have a beautiful and fantabulous rest of your day. Bye now. Mwah.